From punching up on a trans woman,
Do you mind not punching down on my people? I said, what might you mean?
to handing a reality check to the entire feminist crowd.
Fine. You are not a whore. But you are wearing a whore's uniform, I'll tell you that right now.
Here are 8 times Dave Chappelle had zero tolerance for woke people, starting with the time Dave out-canceled the Me Too Hollywood crowd.
And then I said something about it in one of my specials, and all these women actresses came after me. I said, man, fuck y'all too, you canceled. I ain't jerking off to none of your pictures again. They were like, who is he to tell us anything? I'll tell you exactly who I am. I'm the one that got off the bus and left $50 million on the bus and walked.
Next, Dave suggested what feminists could have done instead of dancing to the cancel culture track.
I agreed with these women. I just didn't agree with what they were doing about it. Because if these women were serious, you know what they would have done? They all would have fired their agents. And they would have went to the mailroom of one of these big agencies and found a woman that was busting her hump in there.
And Dave wasn't done dropping facts just yet.
If you want to talk to us, then you have to talk to her. And if they did that, then she would be big and they would be big and nobody would get fed to Harvey Weinstein. But did they do that? No.
But Dave's next suggestion hit the outrage orchestra harder than Trump's 2025 re-election.
Was that their idea? No. Surprisingly, it was mine. And what I think the feminist movement needs to be very successful is a male leader. I'll do it.
Before he could even get elected, though, President Dave asked for his own absurd taxes.
I will. I will lead you women to the promised land. I will make sure you get equal pay for equal work. I will make sure that nobody harasses you or fucks with you on the job. I will protect all of your interests. And all that I ask for in return is that you suck my dick.
While Dave was punching up against all the feminists in Hollywood, a community still accused him of punching down, and Dave instantly clapped back.
She said, do you mind not punching down on my people? I said, what might you mean?
Before arriving there, Dave's cancel train first took off in 2005.
I was doing a nightclub in Oakland 16 years ago, and this is the first time that the trans community ever got mad at me that I knew about. And I was nobody. I just quit Chappelle's show. It was like a nothing hole-in-the-wall club, and I was doing some transgender jokes in Oakland. It was 16 years ago. My pronoun game was not as nice as it is today.
Fortunately for him, a Pronoun Games esports player would soon drop a guide.
I went too far. I said things like tranny and shit. I didn't know these words were bad, and a woman stood up and just gave me the business. Started screaming at me, and I'm sure it was a woman, but she kept calling me transphobic and all this shit. I'd never even heard these words before. It's really weird. I didn't trip. I just gave security the look like, don't get that bitch out of here.
Not stopping there, the keyboard warrior took their battle to the front page battlefield.
And then she went to the press, and the next day, one of the gay papers wrote all the same things she had said to me about me in the paper. Misquoted the jokes and was calling me transphobic. And again, all these words, I'd never heard them before, but every time that I talked with anybody from that community since, they always repeat the talking points from that article.
But there was one line in the article that stung extra hard.
My least favorite of which being, and I hate this phrase, they say I was punching down on them. Punching down. What the f does that mean? Now fast forward, it's 2019.
Even decades later, Dave's run-ins with the Transformers wouldn't stop.
I was drunk. I looked over my shoulder, I thought I was tripping. I guess who was in the bar? I thought I was seeing things. I looked across the room and I saw the trans from the picture.
Instead of catching real bullets, though, her bodyguards ended up catching Dave's strays.
And she was with 2 big, buff, gay black dudes. I didn't know these dudes, but I know they was gay. If they had a in their mouth, they wouldn't look any gayer than they did just sitting there. They had 1980s gay face.
But as the cancel cultists started quoting headlines, Dave quoted Bible verses for her burial instead.
She said, do you mind not punching down on my people? Ooh, I don't like that. Normally I would have let it go, but I was drunk. I said, what might you mean? I was careful to call her a bitch because I didn't want to blow her cover.
As it turned out, the woman had not only borrowed her gender, but also her dislines.
She was loud, she was proud. She let me have it in front of everybody, screaming at me all the talking points from that article. You transphobic, this and that. Kept clapping her hands in my face. Let me tell you something. I said, where you learned this from? Black, she kept doing, let me tell you something, man. So annoying.
Next, Dave gave the woman a taste of her own culturally appropriated medicine.
She kept calling transgenders her people. Isn't that weird? My people this, my people that. I said, what do you mean your people? Was y'all kidnapped in Transylvania and brought here as slaves? She said, my people have struggled for decades, honey. Decades!
Adding another truth dose in her prescription, Dave explained why his jokes make headlines in the first place.
And I looked at them gay black dudes like, is there anything you niggas need to tell this bitch? Clifford. Boy, that shit got on my nerves. And it got on my nerves because whenever someone says that to me, I know they've never seen me for themselves. They just repeat what they've heard.
Dismantling the entire offense argument, Dave showed how the misandry mob wasn't his target at all.
Any of you who have ever watched me know that I have never had a problem with transgender people. If you listen to what I'm saying, clearly, my problem has always been with white people.
Finishing up, Dave shared the only barrier protecting the white populace from his destruction.
I have been arguing with the whites my entire career. And just when I thought I had you guys on the ropes, you changed all the rules. Oh, yeah? Yeah, motherfucker. Well, I'm a girl now, and you must treat me as such.
While white people can protect themselves with their instant transformation, the same can't be said for Paula Deen, who got deep fried by her own chef team.
That Paula Deen, remember Paula Deen got fired from the Food Network? If you know anything about show business, it is really hard to get fired from the Food Network. And they dropped that bitch like a hot potato. All because she called somebody an N-word 30 years before she had a show.
And even though Dave's enemy was in the opposing kitchen, game recognized game.
I don't know who she said it to, but whoever it was just looking at her like, I'm gonna get you for this. That shit came back 30 years later like a Bill Cosby and sunk a battleship.
Letting Paul's racism slide, it was her hypocrisy that scorched Dave's pan.
And every black person was mad, but we weren't like that mad. It was more confusing than it was infuriating. I was just like, well, how's this bitch gonna call me a nigga when she taught me how to fry chicken? That's not fair.
Next, Dave pointed out that the canceled chefs were overcooking dishes the actual customers never ordered.
It's just name calling. Like, name calling does not break the modern black man. That's not gonna do the trick. I don't give a fuck about that. Like, if I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken and for some reason everyone behind the counter had a Ku Klux Klan hood on top of their head, what do you think I'm gonna do in this day and age? Before
serving dessert, Dave gave a tiki torch demonstration on keeping priorities straight.
Right now, Kentucky Fried Chicken? Not if I'm hungry. I'll go straight to the front. Hey, man, let me get a 2-piece. I don't give a what he says. You want a biscuit with that? I thought it came with a biscuit. What's all this attitude?
While Dave didn't care about woke nonsense, he encountered someone who cared too much about her forward fashion until Dave set her wardrobe on fire.
Just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a whore. Fine. You are not a whore. But you are wearing a whore's uniform, I'll tell you that right now.
Dave's Friday night began with a boys' night out at the nearby club.
Like a guy be out, just having a lot of guys. You be out at a club, bar, right? You're kicking with your boys, and a girl walks by, and man, she looks good. She looks good. Not good in that classical way. I mean, you know, I'm talking good, like she got half her ass hanging out her skirt.
And for women like these, Dave had the most interesting riz on the planet.
You got a couple drinks in you, and you see a girl like this, you might try to talk to her. This might not come out right. I don't know what you say, but
damn, look at them titties! The girl gets mad at you. Wait a minute.
What the woman said next, however, was where the woke 19 pandemic started.
Just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a whore. Which is true.
Gentlemen, that is true. Just because they dress a certain way doesn't mean they are a certain way.
But leave it to Dave to have the common sense vaccine ready.
But ladies, you must understand that that is fucking confusing. Just is. Now that would be like me, Dave Chappelle the comedian, walking around the streets in a cop uniform. Somebody might run up on me. Oh! Thank God. Officer, help us.
And just before the curtain call, Dave jailed Miss Skimpy Fashion using her own logic.
Oh! Just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a police officer. Fine. You are not a whore. But you are wearing a whore's uniform, I'll tell you that right now.
After finishing off the individual, Dave took it to the next level by taking down her entire squad and their fractured front next.
You know, you hear all those letters together all the time, LBGT, LBGT, and you think it's just one big movement. It's not. All those letters are their own movement. They just travel in the same car together.
And the road trip kicked off with the most flamboyant drivers revving the engine.
My guess is the G's are driving that car. That makes sense to me, because there's white men in the G's. And these people are trying to get around discrimination and oppression, and you know how white dudes are.
With a classic Chappelle drive-by, Dave introduced his pixie-cut passengers riding shotgun next.
We know these roads. In fact, we built these roads. The rest of you buckle up, we'll get you to where you want to go. Of course, next to the G's in the passenger seat is the L's. Everybody likes the L's.
And I might have failed chemistry class, but even I know the reaction of putting L and G together.
The G's always say like little subliminal digs on them. It's unnecessary. It's not mean, but you know what I mean? They just be like, I wouldn't wear that. The only thing that breaks the tension between the L's and the G's are the B's in the back seat. That's right.
While the B's loved everyone, though, no one loved them back.
If it's one thing that the L's and the G's agree on, is that the B's are f***ing gross. They seem greedy to the L's and the G's, you know what I mean? They're just sitting in the back seat like, yeah, man, I'll f*** anybody in this car. What's going on, man?
And naturally, the last backseater was the community that backseats everyone else's opinions.
Sitting next to the B's, all the way in the back seat by themselves, looking out the window, that's the T's. Everybody in the car respects the T's, but everyone also resents the T's. It's not the T's' fault.
That said, Dave didn't even need to roast the T's, because the other alphabets were doing the road rage for him.
But everyone in the car just feels like the T's are making the trip take longer. Anything the T's say gets on everybody's nerves. And then the T's don't even say anything bad. They just be in the back talking to themselves. I'm hot. Shut up. Shut the f up, okay?
But the in-car shout-out only ramped up as the journey went on.
What? Just said I was hot. Can you pull over at the next exit? I need to use the restroom. There is not a restroom for you for 4 states. Will you just shut the fuck up so we can get where we're going?
And the alphabet car turned from a 4-seater into a 5-seater after finding another letter on the road.
And just when that car can't get any more tense, the Q's are a hitchhiker that they pick up on the road. Some white dude in booty shorts is walking down the freeway. G's see him. That guy might be one of us. Hey, are you okay? You need some help?
Nailing the communal vibe of the last community, Dave just needed his punchlines to send them all up in flames.
And he come over there with them booty shorts leaning on the window. Hey, what's going on, fellas? Yeah, I don't really know where I'm going. I don't know if I'm gay or I'm straight or whatever. All I know for sure is that I really want to get in this car.
Despite their full car, though, the Rainbow Rangers still found space to dunk on Kyrie Irving's innocent tweet, and Dave instantly called them out for it.
Kyrie Irving posted a link to a movie that he had seen on Amazon. No caption on the post or nothing like that, but apparently this movie had some, I don't know, anti-Semitic tropes or something. And it was some weird title like From Hebrew to Negro or something.
But Dave was done with cancel culture's blame bar mitzvah.
And the NBA told him he should apologize, and he was slow to apologize. And then the list of demands to get back in their good graces got longer and longer, and this is where, I draw the line. I know the Jewish people have been through terrible things all over the world, but you can't blame that on black Americans.
Next, Dave explained how you can't accuse someone of a foul they don't even know how to commit.
A fair punishment would be you should just post a link to Schindler's List and y'all write your own captions. Kyrie Irving's black ass was nowhere near the Holocaust. In fact, he's not even certain it existed.
Not stopping there, Dave threw down a clean slam on woke corporations, using Nazi East's example.
Nobody listens to me. When I tell these jokes, you ignore me. What did I say? I said, I don't want a sneaker deal, because the minute I say something that makes those people mad, they're going to take my sneakers away. And the whole crowd's like, ha, 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 ha. But now you see Kanye walking around L.A. barefoot with his chain out.
And before dribbling on, Dave shared his genuine regret on how unfree free speech has become.
This guy lost $1.5 billion in a day. $1.5 billion in a day. It shouldn't be this scary to talk about anything. It's making my job incredibly difficult. To be honest with you, I'm getting sick of talking to a crowd like this.
Putting fear into action, Dave demonstrated his worry by treating all the controversial questions in his next interview like live grenades.
I want to ask you, Dave, where do you draw the line when it comes to like cultural appropriation?
What do you mean?
Like as far as like white people appropriating like black culture?
Okay, this is a controversial question. And I'm not sure if the premise of the question is correct.
And knowing how easily his words get twisted, Dave did his own two-form factor authentication for Charlemagne's question.
For example, Kylie and Kendall today superimposed their images on Biggie and Tupac.
T-shirt.
And they got T-shirts.
Right.
Okay, and as a black person or a person from that culture, you feel like they
It's disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
As always, Dave delivered the only logical take in the entire cultural appropriation conversation.
Kylie and Kendall, like, they don't understand what they're tapping into. They don't understand. I don't think they were doing that maliciously. I just think that they're never gonna, you're a black dude. They're not gonna see the world. If you had some glasses that someone could put on just to see the world how you saw the world, they'd be probably terrified.
But when DJ Envy brought up the idea of Dave himself getting canceled, he made it clear that's never happening.
Now, when everything's so sensitive now, do you think you could do the Dave Chappelle show and not have backlash? Because it seems like everything is sensitive. You say a word and people are already crying and picketing outside of things.
Hey, man, president grabs girls by the...
That's all you need to know, right?
That's where it's at.
And before finally moving on, Dave explained why comics should never fear cancellation.
And comedians wipe out. You know, everybody does. Sometimes you're going to say something and you might be wrong, but that's the nature of the genre. You know, to not take a chance for fear of that would not be being true to the muse.
Would you ever apologize if you said something too far?
If I actually can see this too far.
While the entire community tore Dave down for his jokes, Norm Macdonald lifted him up with an irresistible offer when Dave was struggling with his father's death.
He called me up and he goes, Dave, he says, I'm doing a movie with Jim Carrey. Do you want to meet him? And I said, yes, I do. And it was the first time I could remember since my father died being excited. And the movie was called Man on the Moon.
And Dave soon found out that there was a 2-in-1 legend combo waiting for him.
I didn't know any of this. And in this movie, Jim Carrey was playing another comedian I admired, the late, great Andy Kaufman. Yes, and Jim Carrey was so immersed in that role that from the moment he woke up to the time he went to bed at night, he would live his life as Andy Kaufman.
When the meeting arrived, though, Dave was in for a strange surprise.
I didn't know that. When they said cut, this thing was still Andy Kaufman. So much so that everybody on the crew called him Andy. I didn't know any of that. I just went there to meet him, and when he walked into the room where we were supposed to meet, I screamed, Jim Carrey! And everyone said, no!
Before long, Dave got dragged into Jim Carrey's pretend act as well.
Call him Andy. And I didn't understand. And then he came over and he was acting weird. I didn't know he was acting like Andy Kaufman. Just like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, hello. Andy?
And while Dave appreciated the legendary event now, his tune was completely different back then.
In hindsight, how lucky am I that I got to see one of the greatest artists of my time immersed in one of his most challenging processes ever. Very lucky to have seen that. But as it was happening, I was very disappointed.
But the reason why the story is here is revealed when Dave unveils his own Oscar-level setup.
Because I wanted to meet Jim Carrey, and I had to pretend this nigga was Andy Kaufman all afternoon. Anyway, I say all that to say, that's how trans people make me feel.
Proving that Dave can craft comedy poetry just to get the last laugh on woke people.